Let's go to Glenn in Fresno. What's up, Glenn?
Hey, how's it going, Dr. John?
Partying, dude. What are you doing?
Talking to you.
Sweet. That's such a great answer. Well played. All right, so what's up, dude?
Hey, I guess just kind of came up with this thought and, email your show. And I guess, how do you let go of who you thought you were and this image you had of yourself and this image that other people implanted in you when, your life has done an absolute 180 and your objective mind knows you're not that stuff anymore, but, something inside of you just can't let it go, man.
Give me an example.
Well, I used to be an overweight kid. I was the one that was always picked last for sports and the whole 9 yards. I was shy and quiet. And, now I'm fit. Actually, I guess you could say jacked. I mean, I even have a hard time saying something positive about myself, I've become a certified personal trainer, a nutrition coach from your buddy, Dr. Norton. And it's, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm going to be fat again. Who's going to want to listen to me? Who's going to want to believe me?
Yeah.
That type of thing. It's just, that's one example. I went through a pretty rough marriage, picked somebody who probably wasn't a good partner, but I learned a lot out of it. That ended. And, just recently this wonderful woman walked into my life and I'm like, yeah, she's going to figure me out. This can't be real. And I'm sitting here awake at night thinking, what am I going to do to screw this up? What am I going to do to sabotage it? Why in the world can't I believe I'm worth all this stuff?
So there's man, and her name escapes me. She's from London. She's a researcher on imposter syndrome. And that's such a cheesy line. Like at this point in my life, I'm like, dude, just get over imposter syndrome. But she gave a definition that stuck with me. She said, imposter syndrome is when you believe others are judging you as harshly as you judge yourself. And the reason that was important for me was imposter syndrome has nothing to do with the outside world. It has to do with me. Right?
Right.
And that's both terrifying and relieving because this is something I have to enter into. And I want you to be really grateful for your mind and body because they're working exactly as they should. Here's why. You've been through hell. You've been the little fat kid that everybody made fun of. You've been that little kid that had to hide in his shell. You've been the guy that girls walk past over and over and over and over again. And your body put a GPS pin in that and said, that was terrifying and lonely and scary. We were all alone. We can never let that happen again. And so what your sweet brain and mind and body are doing to you are just trying to remind you that there are sharks out there that can get us at any moment. And now you've got a whole new world, but the GPS system is still beeping at you, right? It's still trying to get your attention. Hey, we could die. Mm-hmm. And so at some point, you got to make peace with, my body's just trying to keep me alive. And that's different than going to war, trying to shut up the voices. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And this is hard, especially for somebody who has been out of shape and is now in shape, because you often attack that, right? It's like, pain is weakness leaving the body. Like, I'm going to crush my way through this thing, and it's discipline over and over. This is making peace. This is opening your hands up, not tightening them up. Okay.
Right.
I will tell you, and Lane and I have had this conversation personally. I've had this conversation. I've been blessed in my career to have in this new second chapter of my life is like I co-host a radio show with Dave Ramsey. And we talk about often off air, just as friends, he's got hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars of net worth. He still has that poor East Tennessee kid in there.
Yeah.
Right. And as my life has changed, I can't even scratch and sniff his net worth. But as my life has changed from being the poor kid, money was a curse in my home. Right. It was terrifying. I've gone back to him and said, hey, man, how do you balance this, man? Because I got this little kid in me screaming, it's all coming down. It's all coming down. And he's given me two important things. Number one, in his words, the ratios. In my words, the charts and graphs. I've got to look at the data. Okay. So what I mean by that is, if you have $10,000 and you buy $1,000 car, and you have $1 million and you buy $100,000 car, the ratios are the same.
Right.
Right. In my little brain, I'm like, $100,000 car.
Right.
And so it doesn't ever work. And so for you, that girl would never talk to me because I'm not worthy of her time or attention or love. And now she does. And I have to say, no. And by the way, forget the jacked part. You're a guy who walks around with his head held high, who loves other people, who takes care of it. You've dedicated your life to helping other people through hard moments. That's who you are.
Yeah,
dude.
no, it's important to me.
That's right. You've got to learn to look at the ratios and say, okay, the data says this. I'm not going back. And I've got to learn to love myself as much as I ask other people to love themselves. I've got to honor myself. And so that leads me to the second thing. And this has been the key for me is this is not going to sit well with the bro culture. Okay. With the crush it and kill it. It's not going to sit well with that crew. Okay. But I don't care because I'm right and they're wrong. You have to outsource some of this to a group of friends and community that will consistently call you out, hold you accountable, and remind you on a regular basis that you're loved.
Yeah.
Okay. And Andy Peterson here in town. He's a musician here in town. He says your community defines your calling. Your community is going to be the group that rallies around you, says, hey man, you're really doing a great job taking care of people. You inspire me. I love you. And I've got to learn to listen to that voice as data more than the voice in my head saying, hey, it's all coming down. It's all coming down.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. The other thing that's hard is, when you do these big changes, you get yourself on the right track. And even in the work world, I'm pretty high up in a pretty major company, dealing with tens of millions of dollars. And it's like they're trusting some little redneck kid from Fresno, to do this. But your support group, your friends, your close people, they drift away because you just can't connect anymore. So yeah, you do. You find yourself kind of alone out there.
So people often look at, all right, what's the external work to do? What can I go crush and kill? The challenge here, and there is a place for that. And make no mistake, there's a place for getting up and grinding it and working really hard. There's a place for getting up and working out really hard and getting in shape, all that stuff. Taking care of your diet, taking control of your diet, stuff that Lane has personally helped me with tremendously. But the other side of it is, this sucks. I got to go make new friends at 30.
Yeah.
Which is the worst. Yeah. The worst. Right? And then, God forsake, you got to go make friends at 40. And the practice of our life is you only have a certain number of opportunities to make 25-year friends because you only have so long to live, right? Yeah. And so the practice is less about, I need to get my brain to stop doing X, Y, and Z. I need to go make a couple of really close friends that I can trust. Yeah. And that means I'm going to have to call guys and be weird, and they may totally hose me. Or I might find out 6 months in, they just using me for my business contacts. That's cool, man. Mm-hmm. That they're not in a good place to be good friends. That's cool. I'm not even going to sweat it. I'm just going to roll off and go do my thing. And I'm going to grieve it. I'm going to be bummed out because I like that dude or I like them. Cool. I'm going to go make friends another way. I'm gonna have people over at my house to watch the fights, and 2 or 3 of those dudes and I are gonna be hanging out after. Does that make sense? Like it's gonna be by the way, these aren't guys at the gym. Like I'm just not gonna surround myself with meatheads. I'm gonna find a bricklayer and my 2 closest friends on the planet. Let's say 4. My 4 closest friends right now, if I was just to tick them off, one of them is a bank examiner. One of them is a COO of a HVAC company, like a plumbing HVAC company. One sells lube. I wish I was lying. You know how many cut down wars he wins? 0. Because he's a lube salesman, like for diesel mechanic or whatever. And then the 4th one is the CEO of a lawn care company. And I'm a YouTuber, dude. None of us do the same stuff. But these are guys that I regularly call, that we talk to. I tell them I love them. They tell me they love me. They ask about my kids. If I've got a hard life decision, I reach out to them. So I've got to have those guys. They're not in my industry. They don't know the things I'm going through every day, and I don't know what crap they're dealing with every day. And that's the beauty of it. I mean, and we all of us are different politically. We all have different financial situations. It's just it's just a gang. And man, these guys all came later on in my life, and it's been kind of weird and kind of awkward and kind of hard. And there's 40 other dudes that I love and care about, but these ones are certain. So, you see what I'm saying? It's part of it.
I do.
So I got another close friend that's in Colorado Springs is a trader. Got another close friend in Dallas who sells insurance. So it's again, it continues to ripple and spread. That's my life's work. And let me challenge you on one more thing. You probably tell your folks you got to have a baseline. You got to write stuff down. Is that fair?
Yeah. You got to be accurate, meticulous, and you know, if it's not on paper, you don't know what's happening.
There you go. So. I want you to look at this on YouTube. I'm holding it up right now. I carry it with me. It's on my desk. It's my little, it's a diary is what it is. I wish again, I'm trying to come up with like some rad, like Jocko way of saying it. Like, this is my thought executioner. I don't, it's just a diary. It's just a journal.
Right.
But I've got rad. I got like my Go Ruck sticker, Christensen, B. Wilder, Montana Ninth Code. Like I tried to make it as tough as possible, dude. It's a diary. And you've got to begin to take captive these thoughts that tell you that you suck. Okay. And when you have that thought that like, what are they doing? Like, I am a redneck kid write that thought down as though it's a box of Girl Scout cookies you just annihilated and you're trying to get a handle on your nutrition. Write it down. And take captive of it. That's not true. I was a redneck little kid, and I worked my butt off to get here. And they wouldn't be trusting me with this if they didn't think they were going to make a whole bunch more money because I'm running the show. Awesome. That woman is blessed beyond measure, not to marry some super sexy Glenn, which good for you. People often mistake me as a personal trainer too, by the way. And that's never happened. Not one time. Not one time in my life has someone been like, "Are you a personal trainer?" That's never happened. But she's really, really lucky to meet a guy and fall in love with a guy who's dedicated his life to helping other people achieve their goals, achieve their visions of health and longevity, and being able to wrestle with their grandkids when they're 80. That's work you're doing, and she's won the lottery, falling in love with a guy like that.
Yeah, that's what she says. It's hard for me to grasp, but yeah, okay.
She might be lying to you just because you're a smoke show. I don't even know you, so I'm not gonna lie to you.
Nah, she's pretty awesome. It's like I woke up and it's like this is different.
Yes. So write them down, and I'll even give you one more thing. This is something me and my wife use, like a tool we use all the time. I did it last night. I asked her the question. I say, hey, the story I'm making up is you're mad. The story I'm making up is you were frustrated by something I said or did. The story I'm making up is you don't want to go to this party that we got invited to. And by saying it that way, I'm not saying, why are you mad? Why don't you want to go to this party? I am taking ownership of this. I have created a story in my head that you don't want to do this. And it invites her in to say, you're right, I don't want to go. And I had a story that you would be mad. Or, of course I want to go. I just have had diarrhea all day and I don't, no, that's not my wife. But you know what I mean? So that's a tool you can ask. When you find yourself, I don't think she really likes me. I can't believe. Then I think you can reach out and say, hey, the story I'm choosing to tell myself is that a beautiful woman like you is going to leave a loser like me. Call her out. And she might look at you and say, I never want to hear that story again because it's not true. It's not true. It's awesome to know you, Glenn. Thank you for loving people in your community and for dedicating your life to other people's lives. That's amazing. I want you to treat you as good as you treat them. Take captive of those thoughts, my brother. Take captive of them. And over time, your default setting will change from, I'm just a dumb idiot redneck kid to, I'm freaking Glenn from Fresno. And I'm doing some pretty amazing things for the people in my world.